Hey, AsmonGold, your top comments even agree that your take on Brandon's hat sucks. And he goes through and he screenshots the comments, trying to bully AsmonGold into changing his opinion. Seriously? Okay. I know a lot of people think I'm wrong, but I really don't think so. The hat says make politicians afraid again. I think this can easily and reasonably be interpreted as an implication of violence. I like you and Brandon. I just think the hat is in poor taste. Roger Dodger, I respect your opinion. Just don't agree with it. Hope you've been good. Wait, is that really like a thing they have right now? Seriously? Or are these from older videos? Oh, it's just DemolitionRanch merch.
I'm sure there will be a lot of people watching this video who do not know me, who are new to this channel, and are just checking in based on recent occurrences. So for those who are new, for those who do not know me, my name is Matt Carricker. I am a Texas-based YouTuber, and this is my YouTube channel. Demolition Ranch is a firearms-centered channel. I also have Off the Ranch Matt Carricker channel, which is a vlog type channel, and then I'm also a veterinarian, and so I have Vet Ranch, which is a veterinary-centered channel. And across the board, across all of my videos, we really don't talk about politics at all. We keep politics out of it. For one, it's not my bread and butter, but also I don't feel the need to impose my political views and beliefs on other people, and so we generally just stay away from the topic of politics. However, we were obviously kind of thrust into the conversation after last weekend. So before I go any further, to the family of the victim who died during the Trump shooting, man, I'm so sorry for your loss. It's terrible, and I hate that happened to him and to you guys, and wishing you guys the best from here. That's the worst. Company.
Is this even related to him, or? Oh, at Demolition Ranch. Is this the Demolition Ranch merch shit? Okay, we're gonna do the three timestamp investigation, okay? We're going to pick 2 videos. And we'll see if we can find politics. Edging YouTube's new gun rules. That's a good video to check. Boom. And boom. It's not his merch. He is the distributor/supplier of the merch for Brandon. Okay. Okay, 3 times. Let's go. Oh, we'll go to the most replayed.
Parts being attached to guns, including putting a suppressor on a gun. They said that was explicitly illegal. Gave me strikes and deleted the videos, and I went ahead and privated all the other videos just so I wouldn't get any more strikes. That was fine. I complied. So then they made some other rules where you couldn't sell firearms online, which that didn't bother me because I don't ever sell firearms online. Then they started talking about you couldn't have any gun parts being attached to guns, including putting a suppressor on a gun. They said that was explicitly illegal. We got a video deleted and a channel strike from that. We actually fought back on that one because that was stupid. And YouTube said, oh yeah, you're right, that's stupid.
A couple of weeks ago, YouTube changed a whole bunch of like rules for gun YouTube shit, and it's like it's like unhinged. I think it makes the channels basically like unviable. It's really, really, really wacky. That's what he's talking about right now.
They reinstated my video and said we're all good. So now YouTube just came out with some updated rules in their firearms policy, and some of them are bad and they're definitely going to affect. Before, they don't love machine guns, which is what this is. This is a full auto pre-86 machine gun. This is an AK-47. They didn't like them, but it was only for advertiser-friendly content. They would say this is not advertiser-friendly, and they demonetize the video. So they have a whole list of rules, and I can put that in the description below. But one.
Okay, video 1, pass, okay. No politics. Okay, 1, 2, 3, here we go. Video 2.
.com/DemolitionRanch and use promo code DemolitionRanch to check it out. And if you don't win an auction using these bids, or you don't like it for any reason, contact Deal Dash and you'll get your money back, no questions asked, on your first bid pack purchase. Round 2, part 2 of our video.
Hodl. Do you want to come into Discord? Hodl. HODL in YouTube. The entire world saw the media screw up the headlines except Destiny, apparently. No, the entire world didn't. Most of the world hates you. Most of the world looks at the United States and they look at Trump, and you guys are like dancing like, oh, the world respects us. They don't. They think you're a fucking joke. They think that Trump is a joke. All of them make fun of him. Even his good buddy Putin and Kim and everybody behind this, they all make fun of him. They all think that he's fucking retarded, and they're all having a big old fucking laugh behind your back and behind his back, or right to your face because you're too fucking retarded to tell when they're laughing at you. That's all that's happening. Sorry.
Video testing some gun modifications that do exist that probably shouldn't. We bought a bunch of the craziest, weirdest things we could find, and they're dumb. Starting off, this is a Beretta.
Oh, it's so dumb.
It's a super dumb modification,
Yeah.
But you can tell it.
The dumb Glock mod.
Listen, Berettas are beautiful. I really like the way they look, but they're not as good as Glocks. But you can see, this mag has a real weird, stupid base plate. That's because the mag is a knife. You take this blade, which you have hooked onto your vest right here.
Okay.
50 BMG, anyone? With a Gatling trigger.
I'm just gonna.
I honestly, I don't know where to hold it. I mean, the bipod helps, maybe. That was fun.
I did not like that.
Oh, there's still more. I'm done. Let's show the
Did you just say Obama?
last gun. Next is just,
Medic.
you know that song that says, "Let Jesus take the wheel"?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let this gun spin the contraption by itself, and we'll just see where it wants to go. Were you nervous that time?
100%.
I did not see that coming.
Okay, he passed. He passed the 2 YouTube video check. That is a certified non-political channel. What is this? Okay, don't care about this. Oh, this video. Okay, what do I have open over here?
About the Trump assassination is, was this an inside job? We now know that Trump security was shifted from the Secret Service over to another group called Homeland Security Investigations. And this came out from Josh Hawley, a senator who tells us that there was a whistleblower who is now explaining what actually happened. And so Hawley sent this one out to the X universe. It's gotten a bunch of views here, and it says that whistleblowers tell me that most of Trump's security detail.
The ultimate in inside jobs, implicating dozens or hundreds of federal agents, of people in planning, of people concocting and scheming. Who knows who had knowledge of this? A switch up of teams that nobody thought to ask questions about, that was passed off as being authentic. All of it hinging on some autistic 22-year-old dipshit kid who can't hit shots in a prone position 150 yards away with an AR-15. Drat. They fucked up. Imagine staging an assassination and not picking a good shooter. Fuck. Maybe they ran out of money by that point.
Working the event last Saturday, J13, were not even Secret Service. It was some other group from Homeland.
My wild conspiracy is that Melania hired the kid. Jesus. Key figure in fake electors plot concealed damning posts on secret Twitter account from investigators. Chesbro denied using Twitter, now known as the platform X, or having any alternate IDs when directly asked by Michigan investigators last year during his cooperation session. According to recordings of his interview obtained by CNN linked Chesbro to the secret account based on numerous matching details, including biographical information regarding his work, family, travels, and investments. The anonymous account, Badger Pundit, also showed a keen interest in the Electoral College process and lined up with Chesbro's private activities at the time.
Do you have any social media presence? Facebook, Instagram,
No,
Twitter?
I mean, no. I for whatever. I mean, before.
Any
Yeah.
alternate IDs that you're using for that kind of stuff?
No, I mean, I don't do any tweeting.
Twitting. Chesbro's lawyers confirmed to CNN that the Badger Pundit account belonged to Chesbro, describing it as his random stream of consciousness where he was spitballing theories about the election, but insisted that it was separate from his legal work for Trump's campaign. When he was doing volunteer work for the campaign, he was very specific and hunkered down into being the lawyer that he is, and gave specific kinds of legal advice based on things that he thought were legitimate legal challenges, versus Badger Pundit, who is the other guy over there just being a goof, said Robert Langford, an attorney for Chesbro. Oh no. Asked about the secret tweets, Danny Wimmer, a spokesman for Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, said in a statement to CNN, "Our team is interested in the matter. We'll be looking into this matter." Where's the... Oh. So this is his account? You don't get the big picture. Trump doesn't have to get courts to declare him the winner of the vote. He just needs to convince the Republican legislatures that the election was systematically rigged, but it's impossible to run it again, so they should just appoint electors instead. Badger Pundit was Ken Chesbro's secret Twitter account. And what was his pinned tweet, thanks to Wayback Machine? I predict that on December 14th, in several states, both the Trump and Biden electors will cast their votes, and the electoral votes of any state still in dispute on January 6th won't be counted. If neither candidate has 270 votes, the House will then vote Trump a second term. This is the coup plan. I don't know what these tweets are from. Somebody linked images. He will push it all the way to early January and, if necessary, rely on Pence to count only electoral votes sent in by the Republican legislatures, or count no disputed electoral votes and throw the election to the House, which will elect Trump 80-20 in Trump's favor. Oof. 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 Oh, somebody found it? Oh, no. Trump scene possibly bleeding at rally. Brandon Herrera. Where is he? I'm harassing him on Twitter for this one. Does he have a tweet talking about the bad headlines, or... Just snag the video from the tube. Just tweet out the video of him talking about it. It doesn't look good when you tweet a link to a video. Fuck. Somebody on Discord should send me like a 20-second cut from his video. And then I can tweet out this article. Hell yeah. This one. Oh, fuck it. Actually, you know what? No, fuck. It'd be nicer to have... No, I need the video. I need like a 15-second cut of the video. Would he even defend Fox News? He's just going to say Fox News is also bad? That's fine, but he didn't have it in his video. He didn't include it in his video at all. So there's a reason why. Why are you being so charitable? Actually, hold on. What, can I just ban? Fuck you guys. Like, I don't know why you're being so charitable. He literally didn't have Fox News listed as any of the examples. What did he give? 3 or 4 examples? He didn't put Fox News in there at all. Shut the fuck up. If he wants to say that he doesn't trust them too, that's fine. But there's a reason why he didn't put that in the video. It's very intentional. He only put the left-leaning media sources. Is there like an archive of all of this guy's tweets somewhere, rather than having to go by like scattered other tweets and screenshots on Imager and archives, or? Wayback Machine link on the Badger Pundit. Jesus. The claim that Trump tried to stage a coup is a Nazi-level big lie that will surely join the fake news media-driven pantheon of other big lies used to target Trump, including the Russia hoax, the Fine People hoax, and the Inject Bleach hoax. Jesus Christ. Do you think you could pinpoint the event where conservatives went down this path of alternate reality? Nope. It's like a process over time. If there was any ambiguity, WEC could use its rulemaking authority, and this court could order that and defer decision. Trupus suggests WEC, something electoral college? What does WEC stand for? Wisconsin Election Commission? The simple solution is to read the statute to require the voter to personally mail or return the ballot. Oh, it is. Yeah, okay. COVID and opportunistic behavior has led to massive use of drop boxes. If this is allowed and these aren't binding rules, candidates have to meet with 1,800 clerks to find out what they're doing. What is the year for these tweets? This is... Oh, wait. Wait. Hello? Oh, we're in 2022, right? This is when these are?
Big fucking deal. And we were met with headlines from, like, for example, Washington Post, Trump escorted away after loud noises in Pennsylvania rally. ABC News, Donald Trump escorted off stage by Secret Service during rally after loud noises ring out in crowd. Or my favorite, Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. I know journalists aren't people, but Jesus, sometimes they surprise even me. Spike Cohen chimed in, if CNN had been around in 1963, JFK falls really, really hard at rally in Dallas. I mean, anybody who watched the video immediately knew what happened. Just fucking crazy for them to throw up their hands almost like maliciously, like, oh, I don't know, could have been anything. Especially with how serious of a fucking event this was. This one from the Babylon Bee. CNN, clumsy Trump hits head on a bullet. It's satire, but it's fucking close.
Wow, good job. You're a warrior. Bum, 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 bum. Good job. Twitter warriors. What would you say to single issue voters who only care about fiscal policy about Trump? I mean, if Trump doesn't have good fiscal policy either, what do you want me to say? Trump didn't balance any budgets. Did you know he ran for political office and lost? No, I've only seen that posted in chat about 7,000 times, but yours is the first time I actually stopped to read it, so thank you. This guy's just doing a play-by-play on this Wisconsin trial shit. Okay. Throw this down here. Okay, back to this video from the start of the stream. No more links.
Crooks allegedly fired as many as 8 rounds before a Secret Service sniper shot Crooks dead. Reports say that Crooks purchased 50 rounds of ammunition on the day of the shooting, and investigators later found 2 improvised explosive devices in his car and another in his home. Crooks' profile seems to be similar to other shooters in his age range in that he was troubled, interested in firearms, and struggling to figure out what to do with his life. He was asked to leave the high school gun club because he was a poor shot. He wore hunting gear and camouflage to school, and some students bullied him for it. One classmate told the New York Times, quote, those other kids would always say, hey, look at the school shooter over there. They would tease him about his poor hygiene, his body odor. He was an easy target. 2 months before the shooting, Crooks earned an associate's degree in engineering science from Allegheny County Community College, and although the University of Pittsburgh had accepted him, Crooks decided not to attend school. Like many other school shooters, he was described as a loner. In other ways, Crooks differs from other mass shooters. He apparently left virtually no online footprint. And although Crooks was a registered Republican, he was too young to vote in the 2020 election. His father was registered as a Libertarian and his mother a Democrat. The younger Crooks had a job as a dietary aide at a nursing home and was a member of the local gun club. And there's some evidence that he was researching the DNC and other prominent politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, and it's possible he just wanted to kill a politician and that the Trump rally just happened to be closer to his home. But at the moment, we don't know. Now, after the shooting, the FBI immediately took over the case from local police. A spokesman said that they were investigating the shooting as a potential domestic Domestic Terrorism Act, and as of right now, the FBI believes that Crooks acted alone and that there are currently no public safety concerns. At present, we have not identified an ideology associated with the subject, but I want to remind everyone that we're still very early in this investigation. So if Crooks had survived, what would he have been charged with? Well, to start with murder and attempted murder for killing one person and wounding 3 others. But there would have been other criminal charges as well. Generally, those are state crimes, and there's no doubt that Crooks would have been charged with attempted first-degree murder. In Pennsylvania, that is a criminal homicide that constitutes murder of the first degree when it is committed by an intentional killing. There seems little doubt that he tried to intentionally kill Donald Trump, but was unsuccessful. And during the course of his attempted murder in the first degree, he ended up killing a bystander. Now that would have made him liable for murder in the second degree, because murder in the second degree under Pennsylvania law is their felony murder rule. In the course of committing the felony of attempted murder in the first degree, he wound up killing a second person, which would have made him liable for murder in the second degree. But given the high-profile nature of things and the fact that the target was
What? Who initially linked this video and they said, oh, he quoted the wrong, or he quoted the law completely incorrect? What, is that not right? Or
presidential candidate, I'm sure the feds certainly would have wanted to crack at it too. Now, the presidential assassination statute, yes, there actually is one, 18 U.S.C. 1751, makes it a federal offense for anyone to assault, kill, or kidnap, or attempt to conspire to kill or kidnap the president and vice president of the United States, among others. But since according to most right-thinking people, Donald Trump is not the current president of the United States, he is only a former president, he'd be covered by a different statute. 18 U.S.C. 879 prohibits knowing and willful threats to kill, kidnap, or inflict bodily harm against the following categories of persons who are protected by the United States Secret Service. 1, a former president or a member of the immediate family of a former president, and 3, a major candidate for the...
this is where he is wrong, because attempted murder cannot be the underlying felony for felony murder. Am I really about to go down some autistic fucking law research because you want to be, like, retardedly nitpicky over this?
Public safety concerns. At present, we have not identified an ideology associated with the subject, but I want to remind everyone that we're still very early in this investigation. So if Crooks had survived, what would he have been charged with? Well, to start with murder and attempted murder for killing one person and wounding 3 others. But there would have been other criminal charges as well. Generally, those are state crimes, and there's no doubt that Crooks would have been charged with attempted first-degree murder. In Pennsylvania, that is a criminal homicide that constitutes murder of the first degree when it is committed by an intentional killing. There seems little doubt that he tried to intentionally kill Donald Trump, but was unsuccessful. And during
I think that the person is getting at is that you can't merge other killing crimes to be a felony murder. Otherwise, you could put third degree into felony murder. No, what the other person is probably getting at is they're an ass-pained conservative, and I recommended Legal Eagle, and he probably doesn't like Legal Eagle because he only gets all of his information from Donald Trump-approved lawyers. And because I recommended this guy, he's going to like nitpick to the fucking 20 millionth degree, whatever thing he thinks is incorrect, so that he can say, the next time I recommend Legal Eagle, he go, oh, well, actually, he gave a bad legal notice. 100%. I'm in his brain. I know exactly what he's thinking.
the course of his attempted murder in the first degree, he ended up killing a bystander. Now, that would have made him liable for murder in the second degree, because murder in the second degree under Pennsylvania law is their felony murder rule.
A criminal homicide constitutes murder of the second degree when it is committed while defendant was engaged as a principal or an accomplice in the perpetration of a felony. Felony murder rule, Pennsylvania. Criminal code. Oh, it's just their second degree murder thing. Murder of the second degree. A criminal homicide constitutes murder of the second degree when it is committed while defendant was engaged as a principal or an accomplice in the perpetration of a felony. The act of the defendant in engaging in or being an accomplice in the commission of or an attempt to commit or flight after committing or attempting to commit robbery, rape, or deviant sexual intercourse by force or threat of force, arson, burglary, or kidnapping. The act of the defendant in engaging in or being an accomplice in the commission of or an attempt to commit or flight after committing or attempting to commit robbery, rape, or deviant sexual intercourse. Okay, so he's probably incorrect here. He's wouldn't probably get charged with this because I think the constitutes murder. The second it's committed while defendant was engaged as a principal. So he was just incorrect here. Yeah. Okay.
Donald Trump, but was unsuccessful. And during the course of his attempted murder in the first degree, he ended up killing a bystander. Now, that would have made him liable for murder in the second degree, because murder in the second degree under Pennsylvania law is their felony murder rule. In the course of committing the felony of attempted murder in the first degree, he wound up killing a second person, which would have made him liable for murder in the second degree. But given the high profile...
Okay, there you go. I hope you're happy. I don't know about this state, but in a lot of states, felony murder applies to a specific list of things. The ones you just read, not every single felony. Yeah, but when it comes to like, especially felony murder, like every state, even for first, second, third degree murder, what people say is every state is like different on every state is different in terms of how all of the rulings work for it. Trump blast. What is this? Oh, don't care about this. Do we want to watch this?
I'm Tom Klingenstein, chairman of the board of the Claremont Institute. Today I'm talking with John Eastman, who was one of Trump's election lawyers in the 2020 election. John has been accused of being the mastermind behind what those...
Destiny knows better than the lawyer, obviously. It's because you're uneducated. It's because you're retarded, right? That's why. It's just because you're a retard. That's okay. Goodbye. You're permabanned, okay? It'd be like asking like a software engineer some question about some fucking language that they've never learned before. And then you look it up and the guy's like, oh, I think it's this. And you look at it and it's like, oh, no, actually that. It's like, huh, you know more than a computer programmer? Don't you know that programmers know literally every single thing in every single language and every single thing about programming ever? What do you think it means to be a lawyer? Do you think you become a lawyer when you memorize every law? That's what a lawyer is somebody who's memorized every single state law?
Those on the left are fond of calling a coup or an insurrection or even an attempt to overturn the election. This will be the subject of our discussion. John has been cast out into the wilderness even by most everyone on the right. But for some reason, he remains cheerful. Welcome, John.
Thanks, Tom.
John was a professor at law at Chapman University in Southern California and served 3 years as the dean of the law school. He is a highly credentialed,
Legally goes right. Principal is a person who is the actor or perpetrator of the crime. Is the other qualification for second-degree murder. Wait. Murder of the second degree is a criminal homicide. Constitutes murder of the second degree when it is committed while defendant was engaged as a principal or an accomplice in the perpetration of a felony. No, you're not right. Don't. No, stop. No. So no comment on the Twitch unban. What comment can I possibly comment? Trump got unbanned from Twitch. What comment can I possibly have about this?
Served 3 years as the dean of the law school. He is a highly credentialed, widely published lawyer who, among many other accomplishments, clerked for Justice Clarence Thomas and is past chairman of the Federalist Society, Federalism and Separation of Powers. So let's set the stage. The presidential electors, which had been appointed by popular vote.
I love to hear Ryan Macbeth's take on all the recent Russia Twitter fuckery. He's well positioned to investigate everybody, maybe, yeah.
Sent their vote tallies to Congress, where they were to be open on January 6th. Now, you assisted Trump, who was your client, in trying to persuade Vice President Pence to postpone the counting for 7 to 10 days. To be clear, you weren't asking Pence to reject any electoral votes, as I believe Pence has stated. Rather, you were asking Pence to postpone the counting for 7 to 10 days, which might have given several key states time to determine who had actually won the election. But even delaying the vote was, as you readily acknowledge, a very aggressive position to take. But you thought it was defensible or plausible, and in the circumstances worth pursuing. Circumstances we shall discuss. So, the central wrong, as you see it, is that the election was stolen. You thought Trump had actually won the election, right?
Normal things of fraud, but more importantly, and the things I focused on, were the alterations of state elections.
Do people normally wear red ties like this? Or is he like trying to be like Trump or whatever?
Law by non-legislative actors, secretaries of state, county clerks, even in some cases state judges. And they have no authority to do that under the federal constitution, which assigns the exclusive power.
I thought that solid red ties are like considered not, you generally don't.
In some cases.
Okay, never mind. I don't know why I'm actually asking Chad this. Never mind.
The state election law by non-legislative actors, secretaries of state, county clerks, even in some cases state judges. And they have no authority to do that under the federal constitution.
Please don't permaban, but isn't it reasonable to assume that an attorney would have done the legal research into the specific laws if he was going to cite them in his video? When you're working on any given thing, there's a focus on the thing that you're working on. Okay? Usually, the focus is going to be on the thing that you're focused on. That's what's going to have most of the effort, most of the research. That's what your knowledge is for. Okay? Sometimes, when you're doing research for a particular thing, you might comment on things that are in the periphery. And especially if you're a subject matter expert, you have the ability to do that. You might get something wrong there. You shouldn't, ideally. You do good research. You might get something wrong there, though. But if it's not like the central claim or thesis of what it is you're talking about, then I don't think it undermines like the entire article. Like, I'm sorry. Let me explain, okay? Let's say that I was an expert on cell phone manufacturing, and I wanted to write a whole article about how the, whatever the fuck the new A11, A69 fucking chip in the iPhone, why it's better than the Snapdragon 69 or whatever the fuck is in the Samsung and Google Pixel phones, okay? If I'm writing an article on this, and I have a lot of subject matter expertise, right? And I'm writing why I'm thinking these two things are comparable, okay? That this is better than that, okay? Especially since I'm a subject matter expert, hopefully I'm not fucking up anything when I'm making these important comparisons, okay? If you were to cite my article, however, it would be very cringe to cite a sentence that isn't the focal point of the article and then citing to that, like in the Supreme Court cases, like that's like a holding opinion. That would be cringe, right? Even Supreme Court justices shouldn't do that for other opinions, okay? For instance, right? I'm going to New York Times 9/11 article, all right? Let's say that there's a whole article on, okay. This was published on September 8th, 2011, okay? I'm not going to read the whole article, but let me skim it. On that day, that requires no year. The sun set on crushed buildings in a reimagined world. It set on a recontoured skyline in a haunted city. The equations of life no longer work, blah, 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 okay. So we're reading this, okay? Apparently this is about like the change in attitudes and how the world changed and how all of our expectations and everything changed, I guess, as we go through time, okay? It's showing impacts on different parts of society. This poor person, I guess, has a birthday on 9/11. Sucks to be them. Civic life, I guess, got bad and crossing the line, something. I don't know what the fuck this is about. Okay. Now, roughly speaking, okay, this is like the, roughly speaking, all right, how 9/11 affected us and affected the country is like the focal point of this article, okay? Broadly, conceptually speaking, all right? It would be appropriate for me to cite this article if I was writing another article or story about how there are a lot of opinions about how the country changed after 9/11, and then I could cite to this article showing that. It would be inappropriate for me if I was writing, let's say that I was writing a piece, and I was writing a piece about how George W. Bush felt justified in going to war in Iraq because he saw 9/11 as Saddam Hussein aggressing against the United States, and then I were to cite the New York Times article, and I were to cite the sentence that says, George W. Bush understood 9/11 as a declaration of war. That wouldn't be appropriate, because this sentence here doesn't really build towards or is incorporated as part of like the important like substance or concept that this article is about. It wouldn't be appropriate. Does that make sense? I was going to scream at you in chat, but then I see this happen a lot on Wikipedia, where people will cite to a particular thing in another source, but that's not really what that source is about. And it's a really inappropriate way to do citations. When you're citing to some material, the thing that you cite to should be the important conceptual meat of whatever it is you're citing to. A citation to a material, even if the fact is in there, is wildly inappropriate if that's not the meat of what that material is getting at, in my opinion. There's a name on Wikipedia for this, but I don't know what they call it. You're not supposed to cite sources this way, but all of this to say that if Legal Eagle, I don't know what that video is about because I haven't watched it. I just watched like the first minute of it. I don't even know how the fuck it was linked. Fuck me, where is this?
Yeah, it's illegal to try to candidate for president. Immediate family of such. They're shooting a security failure, and that seems like into troopers from the Pennsylvania not securing the rooftop that Crooks used to get for the shooting. It was not immediately clear whether that officer was the one seen examining the building, and the newly surfaced video of the sheriff can be controlled. You may remember the day of the shooting, the school called the rule that the Crumblies could be tried, and the gun that our is missing. You can search in Cognitless.
Okay, so it sounds like he's running through a whole bunch of potential liabilities that people could face in the course of having committed some crimes or whatever. I would say here actually that like if you're going to be citing to all of these individual little laws and you're going to say that like, oh well, you know, somebody could be liable. Yeah, he probably should have done better research here. He shouldn't have messed this thing up.
On 2 improvised explosive devices in his car, and that not he wore hunting gear and camouflage to school. They nearing science 2020 election. Republicans and Democrats for the case from local police. A spokesman, Crooks associate, had survived 3 up in charge of the Phil Donald. He ended up killing a bystander.
However, I will say though that when he gets this particular thing wrong, I don't think that he's getting it wrong in bad faith because he's literally showing the like criminal statute that kind of goes against what he's saying here. So I don't think he's like making shit. I think that it was probably just sloppy research for a quick video that they wanted to get out, or they didn't read the entire felony murder statute. Okay. This issue happens in court every day. Attorneys set a case that has similar fact patterns, but does not deal with the issue at hand. Yeah, I've had friends who they have to like go through when people are filing motions and shit. They've got to look up all the underlying case law and make sure that it's not being blah, 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 you know, cited incorrectly. And they have to find their own cases and all that. Yeah, fuck all that shit.
Which assigns the exclusive power to the state legislature to direct the manner of choosing presidential electors. So, and the things I focused on were the alterations of state election law by non.
Does that apply to primary sources? Sometimes useful information, especially for historians, seems to come from things mentioned in passing from unrelated writings. Why is it wrong if the underlying thing being cited in both articles is objectively stated? I just want to say to be better. Just know. You should just know. You should just intuitively understand this concept. There are different types of things that might be stated in a particular article, okay? One thing might just be like a fact, I guess, and another thing might be like an argument or an opinion. I don't know. If you're like a journalist or if you're like a historian, you probably have like better words for this than I do. I'm making this up on the fly, but I know there are different types of things. There are different types of things that you can cite. So hold on. Hold on. These are all just like personal stories. Even the ground rule I was going to give you just doesn't work. I don't know how to I don't know how to get you into my brain. I don't know what to say. If you were arguing about how many people were working every day there, you wouldn't cite this article, even though it has 3,000 workers a day listed here for, I guess, people doing cleanup after. You wouldn't cite this article for it. It wouldn't be appropriate because this article is not. how can I don't know how to make this make sense. I feel like when you're writing an article, there should fuck. I don't even know. I don't know. I actually don't know how to explain this. I feel like you should just understand this. This is your fault, not my fault. When you're writing an article, there's going to be like a focus that the article is going to be on, okay? Stuff that's within the focus or the research point of the article should have like a very, very, very high degree of accuracy, okay? Let's say that I was going to write an article about Hitler's motivations for World War II, okay? Conceptually, that's the focus of my article, is Hitler's motivations for World War II. If you want to cite to my article about what did some people think were motivations for World War II leaders, what did some people think were defining moments in history, about how leaders are motivated or driven to do certain things. If you wanted to talk about World War II specifically, the Holocaust, these would be appropriate things to... Is Steven aware of that Libs or TikTok tweet about him? No, Josiah, tweet away or link me on Discord. These would be appropriate things to cite to. But let's say like in the article somewhere, I also write as I'm saying that like it was a snowy day. Oh, I don't care. This is like 6 years old. But like, let's say on this article, let's say that I write something like, it was a snowy day when Hitler finally decided to take his own life. This was the culmination of his failures as a leader, his aspirations as an ideologue, and his and the ruin that had been wrought to his country because of his irresponsible behavior. Blah 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 blah. Right? Let's say it was some shit like that. Okay. Let's say that I wrote that sentence, or I had written that sentence. Okay. If somebody was studying like climatology or weather or something and the impacts that weather had in World War II, citing to my article about whether it was actually snowing on the day that he killed himself probably isn't appropriate. You don't know like the level of detail or the analysis, how factual the author was when writing that particular line, because it's not really central to what the article's addressing. You wouldn't cite to that article and go, oh, no, look, it says it was snowing here, right? Because that's not the meat of what it's conceptually not the centerpiece, the focal point of what that article is addressing. So you don't know for comments made on the peripheral if the same level of scrutiny, research, and all of that has gone into every single one of those points. Okay. I don't know how else to explain that. Ask your college professor, okay? Explain it like you're explaining dicta. I mean, if you don't understand what I'm saying about this, you're not going to understand in dicta. but I referenced that, like the difference between like the holding opinion and just like in dicta writing and whatever the fuck else. Yeah. I can't tell if this was a troll comment or not. Hold on. If you cite an offhand incorrect thing someone else wrote, is that the fault of the person citing or the person who wrote it in the first place? It's the fault of the person citing. One thing that has been shocking to me, I've noticed this in the International Court of Justice, and I've noticed this in Finkelstein's writings and in other things that we've read, that people sometimes have a very, very, very poor understanding of a good citation. A really good example of this is... What was it? UN report, Great March of Return, full PDF. Hold on. Fuck, was it not here? Oh, wait, this isn't even the full thing. Oh, fuck. Was it this one? I don't know about journalism/law, but in academia, incorrect citations are the fault of the person citing. You aren't supposed to blindly follow the article you're citing, but delve into it in order to draw connections to whatever you're writing that you personally can stand behind. Yes, ideally, yes. At Destiny, while I was pedantic, I called out legal eagle is because every lawyer knows that killing can't be the underlying felony for felony murder. It's tested on the bar and is law in all states. Is that part of, aren't there two different types of like law for the bar? Are there two different types of bar? Is there a shorthand or a nickname for a bar where like you take the same one in all states versus like a state specific? Am I making this up? Do you know what I'm referring to? If that's true, then that would be a more egregious error on his part. Wait, it's not and he's wrong. Can murder, oh my God, ever be the underlying felony for felony murder? Okay, 18 USC. Let's look this up. Wow, we're just wasting all of our fucking time today. Yes. Yes. You know, wait. Nope, not this. Don't give a fuck. This. Nope. Chapter 51. Murder. There's no... Federal felony murder charge. Is there even a charge for... Actually, wait. Could murder ever be the underlying felony for felony murder? Wouldn't that mean that you could charge felony murder in literally every single place you can have murder? Wouldn't you always charge it? If I was a 5-hour heavily moderated debate on U.S. election with you, who would you want your opponent to be? Alex Jones, Tim Pool, Lauren Southern, etc. Can you talk through the options? Lauren and I are, I think, too friendly for people to take it seriously. Alex Jones is a joke. Tim Pool is too much of a coward to actually agree to that. But when you asked me about the Alex Jones thing, in my mind, I'm just using it as an opportunity to talk to the people that would show up to debate, because Alex Jones is a deeply unserious individual who has nothing of value to contribute to political discourse. In terms of people that I'd be interested in debating on it, literally any large conservative, anybody from the Daily Wire, anybody, any somewhat serious conservative, Stephen Crowder, any centrist who's a secret conservative but won't admit it. So Tim Pool, the trigonometry guys, like any of these people, I would debate any of these people. Yeah. Dave Rubin, absolutely. But most of the centrists and the serious right-leaning people, I don't think would agree to that conversation. You'd have to shoot down a couple leagues, because Dave Smith, he wouldn't agree to it. He's already verbally called out that he's dodging me on everything, which I don't blame him. Yes, murder can be the underlying felony for felony murder under federal law. I don't know if that's true. This is why I don't trust this AI bullshit. I wonder if any of these things even say that. Inherently dangerous crimes may vary by state, but typically include burglary, robbery, rape, arson, and kidnapping. However, under the merger doctrine, if the elements of the underlying felony are a part of the elements of murder, the felony murder rule cannot be applied. For example, a defendant who participated in an assault in which someone was killed could not be charged with felony murder because the elements of assault are also incorporated in the elements of a murder. Thus, the assault merges into the murder and is not a distinct crime that can constitute the underlying felony. So this seems like I'm getting an AI recommendation for what this answer is, and then I've clicked through to the article, and the highlighted part of the article seems like it literally directly contradicts what the AI is telling me. This is why I don't trust any of this fucking AI cuck bullshit. Ask me in 5 years. This is why I ban you when you recommend ChatGPT for this shit. Unless I'm misunderstanding. Okay, I don't care. Stop. We got way too off. I don't even know why I'm doing this. We were going over bad citations. Fuck me. Fuck, there's such a good example in here, and I'm not going to be able to fucking find it. Oh, I'm not going to be able to fucking find it. I am not going to be able to fucking find it. It was such a good example. I bet there's more examples in here, but I don't want to read through every fucking citation. There was like... in this, I think it's in this UN report over the border rights stuff, there's like a question of whether or not the territories are occupied. Like it asks that question. And in order to solve that question, it cites to other UN rulings. But the UN, or it cites to some General Assembly resolutions. But the General Assembly resolutions don't have anything to do with determining whether or not the territory is currently being occupied for the purposes that are being discussed here. It's just resolutions that refer to them as the occupied territories. That's it. It's like, it's one of the most egregiously horrible citations I've ever seen in my life. And there's more in here. A lot of the UN shit is really, really, really hit or miss. I wish I could remember which resolutions. It's not 242. It's later resolutions, I think. Oh, I'm not going to be able to... I don't remember. Boom. Oh my God, did I find it? Oh my God. Okay, sorry. I'm going to read this. I'm so sorry. Okay, Jesus. During the 1967 war, Israel seized control of the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, from Jordan, and it seized the Gaza Strip from Egypt. Real quick as a background, so what they're trying to figure out here in this, to figure out what the appropriate legal standard is, analysis that they should use for these border riots, part of the analysis has to determine whether or not Israel is an occupying force in the place where this is being analyzed. Because if they're an occupying force, then arguably you analyze this as a policing event rather than an armed conflict event, right? So that's what this analysis is trying to do. The analysis is trying to establish that Israel is an occupying power in the Gaza Strip. And the way that they do this is wild. Sorry, okay. I'm just going to read from this chapter, okay? Territory is considered occupied when it is actually placed under the authority of the hostile army. The occupation extends only to the territory where such authority has been established and can be exercised. The provision of the Hague Regulations of 1907 is recognized as customary international humanitarian law, including by Israel. The legal standard by which to measure whether belligerent occupation has been established is the effective controlled test. The test may be summarized as follows, okay? One party's armed forces are physically present in the territory of another party without the consent of the local sovereign authority, i.e. the boots on the ground element. Now, it's interesting because I believe Israel fails all three elements here to consider them an occupying force in Gaza, which is interesting. But the presence of the foreign armed forces displaces the local sovereign authority, and the foreign forces have established or can readily establish their own authority, superseding that of the pre-existing local authority, right? So for the first one, IDF soldiers are not present permanently in Gaza. Well, they kind of are now, but before October 7th, they weren't. Hamas was the sovereign authority that did policing and everything. It wasn't IDF troops inside the Gaza Strip. And obviously the Israeli forces can't be established quickly. They had to do a whole fucking war, right? So it fails on all 3 points, right? But somehow they managed to fight all 3 of these points and say, well, no, we still consider Israel an occupying power. Okay, well, how? Let's see. During the 1967 war, Israel seized control of the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, from Jordan, and it seized the Gaza Strip from Egypt. From then until 2005, Israel exerted its authority also through the physical presence of its troops. Viewed against the effective control test, the territory and resident population of the OPT, including the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip, were subject to belligerent occupation. With regard to Gaza, a judgment in the Israeli Supreme Court in 2004 also referred to Israel's status as occupying power there. Okay, so this all makes sense up till 2005 is when Israel pulls out of the Gaza Strip. But here we go. In 2005, Israel evacuated its troops and all the settlements from the Gaza Strip. It then took the position that this disengagement had ended its occupation of Gaza. The evacuation did raise the question of whether the withdrawal of Israel's boots on the ground altered in a legally significant way, that's a key, legally significant way, or even ended the occupation. The law of armed conflict is silent with respect to final or factual thresholds on when an occupation is ended. The ICRC has articulated the generally accepted view that the criteria to be met should generally mirror the ones used to determine the occupation's beginning. That noted, the ICRC acknowledged that departing foreign forces might retain key elements of authority, which in some cases amount to effective control for the purposes of the law of occupation and entail the continued application of that body of law's relevant positions or provisions. Okay, so maybe they're going to make those arguments. On this question, notably, in 2009 and again in 2016, the United Nations Security Council reaffirmed the position that Israel retains the status of occupying power in the OPT despite its 2005 disengagement. The Security Council's 2009 resolution mentions Gaza specifically. Okay, if you're citing here to this resolution, what I'm expecting is I'm going to read a resolution that is explicitly and in detail dealing with whether or not this is still an occupation, right? So we would look at footnote 66, and we see Security Council Resolution 2334. This resolution, I'm guessing, it must be about the legal status of whether or not Israel is still an occupying power in the Gaza Strip. I guess that's what it's about. I don't know what kind of resolution you have with it, but okay, let's click and read. Resolution 2334. Reaffirming its relevant resolutions, including resolutions 242, blah, 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 guided by the purposes and principles of the Charter of the UN, reaffirming the obligation of Israel, the occupying power, to abide scrupulously by its legal obligations and responsibilities under the Fourth Geneva Convention relative to the protection of civilian persons in time of war of the 12th of August, 1949, and recalling the advisory opinion rendered 2004, condemning all measures aimed at altering the demographic composition, character, and status of the Palestinian territory occupied since 1967, including East Jerusalem, including Inner Leah, the construction and expansion of settlements, transfer, blah, 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 expressing grave concern that continuing Israeli settlement activities are dangerously imperiling the viability of the two-state solution, recalling the obligation under the Quartet Roadmap endorsed by, and then recalling under the obligation of this, condemning all acts of violence, reiterating its vision of a region where two democratic states, stressing that the status quo is not sustainable and that significant steps consistent with the transition contemplated by prior agreements are urgently needed, reaffirms the establishment of Israel, by Israel, of settlements in the Palestinian territory occupied since 1967, including East Jerusalem, reiterates its demand that Israel immediately and completely cease all settlement activities, underlines it will not recognize any changes to the June 4th, 1967 lines, stresses the cessation of Israeli illegal settlements, calls upon all states, bearing in mind paragraph 1 of this resolution, calls for immediate steps to prevent all blah, 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 calls upon both parties to act on the basis of international law, including blah, 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 calls upon all parties to continue in the interest of the promotion of peace and security, urges all in regard. So when you look at this resolution, it might not even say Gaza. This resolution has nothing to do with the legal analysis of whether or not the 2005 disengagement made it so that Israel was no longer an occupying of Gaza. The citation here that's given it to further this argument is completely inappropriate. This citation just because it says reaffirming the obligation of Israel, the occupying power, to abide scrupulously by its legal definition, this is not making a strong legal argument for whether or not disengagement meant that they were no longer an occupying power in Gaza. Like, yeah, okay. We just went on like a 45-minute fucking side tangent. The UN General Assembly has also held the view that Israel remains an occupying power in the Gaza Strip. What do they cite for 67? Okay. The only thing that these opinions... Oh, wait, hold on. I haven't seen this one. It seems like the only thing these opinions are doing are just citing to the fact that they call them the occupied territories. That's it. Like, expresses grave concern about the critical situation of the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, particularly the Gaza Strip, as a result of unlawful Israeli practices and measures, and especially condemns and calls for the immediate cessation of all illegal Israeli settlement activities and construction of the wall and the lifting of the blockade in the Gaza Strip. These are not legal analyses of whether or not there's an occupation, okay? Can I move on this? Okay, Jesus. I'm just saying that even though they say the occupied territories, you would never cite to this as a strong legal argument for why you would never cite these. They're referred to as the occupied territories, but you wouldn't cite to this as a strong argument for why legally you ought to consider them still occupied. That's just what they're referred to as, okay? Oh, okay. Jesus. What is this one? The ICRC in 2012 assessed that Israel occupies Gaza. Footnote 69. Why you got me reading this bullshit again? Turning specifically to the situation in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory, the particular challenges facing humanitarian action there cannot be tackled without an honest look at certain Israeli policies that have become key features of the occupation. Israel has exercised actual authority over the West Bank and the Gaza Strip for almost half a century, making its presence in these areas one of the longest sustained military occupations in modern history. While the shape and degree of that military occupation have varied, Israel has continuously maintained effective control over the territories it occupied as a result of the Six-Day War in 1967 and control over the Palestinian population living there. This is not an argument either. It doesn't even recognize disengagement in 2005, right? All this to say that, I'm sorry, I've gone through like some academic work that does this. I've gone through some like International Court of Justice stuff that does it. I've gone through some Roberts opinions that do this. These citations are not good. This is bad. These are dog shit citations. You should just not cite anything. You should just say it's my opinion. You're not citing anything correctly here. If I was a professor, I would flunk you. I don't know how colleges do it. I don't know if colleges let you do this. If they did let you do it, they shouldn't. You should get flunked for it, or the professor should count it as it doesn't count. This isn't a real citation. You can't do this. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know why that happens here, or if it's just hacks writing it, or what. I don't know. Wow, holy AI, thanks for the CZK 200, whatever the fuck that means. I love you, buddy. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Where'd you get your law degree from? Wikipedia. I've just lied in several of my citations. Often I would include a dead link if I really couldn't find anything to support my statements. My professors never checked in 5 years of school. Bayzed. Absolutely Bayzed. Just fucking lie. What is this? 10 simple rules for responsible referencing. Cite in accordance with content. If at some phase in the research you've decided that a specific study merits citation, the issue of specifically how and where to cite it deserves explicit consideration. Mere inclusion does not suffice. Suffice. I always fuck this word up. I think I got it right there. Sources deserve credit for the exact contribution they offer, not their contribution in general. True. Oh, exact contribution. Okay. This may mean that you need to cite a single source multiple times throughout your own argument, including explanations or indications why. Oh, maybe it's not. Hold on. A specific way to break Rule 3 is in the form of the so-called Trojan citation. Oh, that's such a good term. The Trojan citation arises when a publication reporting similar findings to your own is cited in the context of a discussion of a minor issue, ignoring sometimes deliberately its key argument or contribution. By focusing on the trivial detail, the Trojan citation obscures the true significance of the cited work. As a consequence, it hides that your work is not as novel as it seems. As a questionable citation practice, a Trojan citation can be used to satisfy reviewers' or editors' requests to include a reference to a relevant paper. Alternatively, a Trojan citation may emerge unknowingly when, 1, you are unaware of the content of a cited publication. Not adhering to Rule 2 creates a very significant risk of being unable to follow Rule 3. Or 2, disputes exist in the scientific community or among the authors on the contribution and or quality of a scientific publication, in which case Rule 4 will help. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is kind of it. Rule 2, read the publication you cite. Citation is not an administrative task. First, a single paper can be cited for multiple reasons, ranging from reported data to methods, and can be cited both positively and negatively in the literature. The only way to identify whether its content is relevant as support for your claim is to read it in full. There was one joke meme that somebody posted, and I agreed. I fucking agreed. What was it? It was in my subreddit, and somebody posted, like, the way that this guy does his footnotes is he would just cite an entire fucking book. And I think at the end of the, in his bibliography or something, at the end of the book, he wrote down, and he was like, what was it? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? He's like, pages aren't meant to be read. Books are meant to be read. Therefore, I never cite to a single page, and I always cite to the entire work. Now, for practical reasons, you should obviously cite to the actual material as well. Watching Destiny ask, why are conservatives silent on Russia must be the most laughably ignorant statement in human history. What part of that is laughably ignorant? Second, the collection of citations included to support your work and argument is one of the elements from which your work draws credibility. The same goes for the citations you include to criticize, dispute, or disprove. As a consequence, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. The quality of the publication you trust and upon which you confer authority co-determines the quality and credibility of your work. Citation rates, especially on the journal level, do not correspond well to research quality. True! Wait, when they say citation rate, does that mean how many citations you make? And they conflate positive and negative citations, not distinguishing authority conferred or authority that is challenged. Oh, like when I say for Wikipedia things, people don't appropriately like weight stuff. But this is also saying like you're citing a thing to agree with it or disagree with it, sure. To cite meaningfully and credibly requires that you consult the content of a publication rather than whether others have cited it as a criterion for citation. True. Absolutely true. Is it just how often the thing is cited? Oh, true. Okay, that makes more sense, yeah. Because if somebody cites a paper 100 times, you might think, oh my God, this is such a good paper. But maybe 100 people have cited it as like an incorrect way to do a particular thing, right? Okay. Nice. Thank you for wasting all of our time.
Legislative actors, secretaries of state, county clerks, even in some cases, state judges. And they have no authority to do that under the federal constitution, which assigns the exclusive power to the state legislature to direct the manner of choosing presidential electors. So Pennsylvania law expanded its mail-in voting. That expansion was subsequently held to be illegal under the Pennsylvania Constitution, but they expanded it even before the COVID pandemic hit. But they retained signature verification so that the expanded mail-in voting would still be subject to a check to prevent fraud. The Secretary of State, in response to what I call a collusive suit by the League of Women Voters, just eliminated on her own the signature verification process altogether. I think that was an all
collusive suit. Like collusion, like she told, like the governor or whatever told them to file the suit. Does he have evidence for that, or?
Alteration of the state law that the state legislature had put in place, and therefore an unconstitutional action in the conduct of the election.
Now, were there others? Let's keep to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there were others in Pennsylvania. They altered the deadline for return of absentee ballots. They allowed ballots that were maybe even mailed after Election Day if the postmark was illegible or non-existent, as long as it was received by the Friday after Election Day. Those
Pisco's saying he lied about the Pennsylvania thing. If you want, you can shoot me a court case or whatever, and we can read it real quick.
post-election ballots that he counted, they altered, in my view.
Oh, wait, hold on. The U.S. Supreme Court reverses the Pennsylvania mail voting law decision. Oof. You are wrong. Look up collusive suit. A lawsuit where the parties are not actually in disagreement but are cooperating to steer the court towards some agreed upon conclusion. Okay. Turn off link ban? How do you not know how to get around the link ban? Just link it in chat and don't tag me. Christ. This is in the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, Middle District. Supreme Court of Pennsylvania means that this is the highest court in Pennsylvania? Or for when it says Middle District, are there multiple? Highest court in Pennsylvania. Why does it say Middle District? The fuck does that mean? Middle? I'm so confused. In the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, Middle District. Well, I don't understand what the Middle District means here. The United States District Court, no. It's the green, okay. Pennsylvania Court, Middle District. The United States, okay, wait. If it says District Court, this is a federal court, right? It's not the same thing, right? I don't understand what the fuck. Oh, Middle District of Pennsylvania. The Middle District of Pennsylvania extends over blah, 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 from the blah, blah, blah. District, okay. Okay, I'm guessing it got appealed from the Middle District, and then the Supreme Court is the highest. So these are all state courts. Everything. I'm guessing what this is what this means. I have no fucking idea. That's my guess. Okay. Wait, this is the dumb fuck nomenclature that Pennsylvania uses. It's not the Supreme Court, just an appellate level. Oh, so this is not their highest court. Wait, really? No. Bro, every state has like different nomenclature for their course is actually actual fucking AIDS cancer. Okay. Okay. Peaceful, you weren't typing anything. Is this the same case that the Supreme Court ruled on? Because if so, wouldn't I just want the Supreme Court's ruling on this? No, wait, hold on. What I just said doesn't even make any sense. Or no, wait, it does make sense. Wait, what is the course? Can the Supreme Court review a decision from a state Supreme Court? Or does it have to go through federal courts? Sometimes. Okay, Pennsylvania's top-ranking election officials said the decision was under review and the guidance to counties about how to handle such ballots. Okay, U.S. Supreme Court reverses. Okay, the U.S. Supreme Court invalidated a lower appeals court decision. This was a federal court. Is this even the same case, or is this a different case that it's referring to? Holy fucking AIDS. This is the Act 77 case. Okay, commonly referred to as Act 77. Okay, this is the Supreme Court case is for a different case then, I'm guessing. Okay. Do they do a syllabus for Stephen, the history of the Commonwealth and development of its Constitution more than 100 years ago? No one cares. Pennsylvania, who cares? Okay. So they reversed that decision. And why does he say that it was unconstitutional? Hold on.
And therefore an unconstitutional to the pandemic hit. But they retained signature verification so that the expanded mail-in voting would still be subject to a check to prevent fraud. The Secretary of State, in response to what I call a collusive suit by the League of Women Voters, just eliminated on her own the signature verification process altogether.
In a collusive suit all on her own, they eliminated that altogether. But ultimately, they couldn't have eliminated it on their own if it was a suit. There must have been a judge that signed off on this, right? Go back a minute.
Okay. A very aggressive position to take. But you thought it was defensible or plausible, and in the circumstances worth pursuing. Circumstances we shall discuss. So, the central wrong, as you see it, is that the election was stolen. You thought Trump had actually won the election, right?
Normal things of fraud, but more importantly, and the things I focused on, were the alterations of state election law by non-legislative actors, secretaries of state, county clerks, even in some cases, state judges. And they have no authority.
Stolen.
I'm sorry.
You thought Trump had actually won the election, right?
Normal things of fraud, but more importantly, and the things I focused on, were the alterations of state election law by non-legislative actors, secretaries of state, county clerks, even in some cases, state judges. And they have no authority to do that under the federal Constitution, which assigns the exclusive power to the state legislature to direct the manner of choosing presidential electors.
Wait, what? Hold on, I'm so sorry. 1 second.
You thought Trump had actually won the election, right?
Normal things of fraud, but more importantly, and the things I focused on, were the alterations of state election law.
Alterations of state election law.
By non-legislative actors, secretaries.
By non-legislative actors.
Of state, county clerks, even in some cases, state judges. And they have no authority to do that under the federal Constitution, which assigns the exclusive power to the state legislature to direct the manner of choosing presidential electors.
What is this argument? He's saying that Why are we watching this? I hate these people. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought he was making a coherent legal argument. He's making the argument that the Constitution says that only the state legislature can make rules relating to, in this case, mail-in ballots, and that it doesn't matter what the fuck the state courts say, or it doesn't matter what the fuck anybody else says, that for the state to do something else, it's violating the U.S. Constitution. Independent state legislature theory. Oh, I've heard of this, but I didn't read any of this in detail. This is about the Moore case. This is 65 pages long. Why do these people agree to do these interviews? Well, I mean, they have their novel legal theories, but I mean, I don't think anybody pays that much of attention to it, right? Like, this guy has 17,000 views on this. It's just legal stuff. Nobody cares. But the Secretary of State is part of the legislature. Are they? Generally, secretaries and all of that are aren't they officers that are part of offices that would be part of the governor's office, part of the execution branch, right? Executive branch.
So Pennsylvania law expanded its mail-in voting. That expansion was subsequently held to be illegal under the Pennsylvania Constitution, but they expanded it even before the COVID pandemic hit. But they retained.
So what? So he just thinks that the Constitution. He just thinks that all of this was illegal and that Pennsylvania is wrong, and that the did the U.S. Supreme Court review this decision? U.S. Supreme Court, Act 77, Pennsylvania. Did it even get appealed up to the Supreme Court? This is a different case. This is not the same, right? Oh, fuck, dude. I hate jumping into these without just reading. Pennsylvania has their own Supreme Court, no? Every state has their highest court, but state Supreme Courts, the highest courts in a state only has the authority to hear matters, state matters, right? They can't, if the federal government can intervene somehow, then the U.S. Supreme Court would be the one to hear that. Or if a state Supreme Court makes a ruling that's violative of the United States Constitution, then the U.S. Supreme Court could hear that and overturn it. I joined my room. Peace, go.